女性用。高校以来かな。
So it's interesting the shots in this. A lot of them, you start off kind of focusing on the feet, which I think was purposeful so that we don't focus immediately on the subject in this piece. So it's more of like a reveal surprise. A lot of symmetry in these opening shots at the first interview. Some of the shots mirror one another. There's a shot where they're all in waiting to go into the interview, and it completely mirrors the shot of all the interviewees standing in or sitting in a line. Um, and I really enjoyed how they framed this within the confines of a job interview. For this reveal of sexual identity being different than the one showcased on the paperwork, and to showcase the difficulty of having to convince this panel of interviewers that they are good enough to do the job despite uh, having this identity of a man, but the birth sexuality of a woman. And to frame it within a job interview really puts you there in the real time conflict that a lot of trans people face. Because this invisible wall doesn't feel like it just appeals to going up in your corporate or job structure. It feels like the wall can prevent you from even getting in. The wall can prevent you from even establishing relationships. The wall could keep you from being close to your family. It did feel like a much wider, more general point of view as far as that feeling of separatists when you're going through this sort of thing.
What incredible camera work. I loved what they did with all of their different angles, and their cinematography was just beautiful. Um, Really interesting too to use the drawings as transitions for the film. I thought that that was pretty wild. Um, Nice acting. The music was great, and I really liked the story.
Here we have the story that dives into transgender matters and not having equality in the workplace. In both the LGBTQIA plus realm and in the acts of women's rights as well. So here we have this setup in this world where this individual is having an interview, and they start off the conversation with, uh, well, we've been interviewing a lot of men, but to be honest, we like the idea of having a woman. An individual walks into the room, interrupting them to find them having a conversation with a person in transition. And they have a conversation as they essentially fight for their right to have an opportunity to interview and work for the company, going to such lengths, saying you can hire me as a trial period, really going out of their way to be a potential strong advocate, an employee for this company, only to be turned down and let go just simply because of who they are. And what's really nice is that these two characters who have come in for this job interview ended up having an encounter outside. They get to tell this individual that they thought that they are courageous and this is an act of bravery, and they have really commended this person for how they put themselves and handle these situations.
I like the concept. I thought it was effective as a message, and the message was communicated effectively. Like the whole metaphor of the invisible wall with like the hiring process and all of that, and like the commentary on Japan also as like a society. I thought it was really clever and potent in a small package.
It is an insightful analogy of the invisible walls and why they call them like that. It is also very deeply moving to see that this happens everywhere. And I loved how they tie this with Sustainable Development Goal number 5 and the gender equality. It is an interesting story, lovely portrayed with a very relatable script and a very relatable setting as well.
About gender equality, like in a professional like environment. The main character, she's a lesbian, and she kind of like poses like a question, like at the start of the short film, like how we could like live in a society where every gender, every like sexual orientation, like could like exist, like in a safe like mutual like relationship. And this is kind of like go to the answer like for this question. So I feel like it comes with like a good intention for this like short film, and it shows like another character who dress up as a man. So I feel like it just show like how like restrict like how old school like the Japanese society is like at work, but at the same time they just kind of like try to fight against like the old system and like gain them like the rights to be like themselves in their workplace. So it has such a good like message. It's well put together with good performances by the actors.